What's up, everybody? It is Western Conference episode number 3. But this one's actually like a homecoming show because we got my brother, DJ Franzen, a.k.a. Frandelay Bay, in the building. What's up, brother?
How you doing, bro?
And we were just talking about this. There's a thousand monikers. Frandelay Bay, Franny Pacquiao. Tell us about those.
Franzen Sinatra.
Yeah, Franzen Sinatra.
Franny Vegas Jr. Carlos Frantana.
Oh, see?
I have the most AKAs in the world, and I'll go to bat for that right now.
And even through through Twitch, we'll talk about that more, but you got people from Fran Bernardino. You could even Fran Diego.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Fran Antonio, Texas.
For those who don't know, man, you know, me and Franny could talk because we're brothers. We came from the Bay Area, but not only a Las Vegas legend now, it's a San Francisco Bay Area thing. If you haven't heard of DJ Franzen from the Bay, then you probably wasn't relevant in the music game that we've been doing, because you've been doing this for many moons, right, Franny?
Since 1990. Yeah.
Woof.
Since
1990. And that's when you started with KMEL.
Yeah. I just hit a teenager too. I just hit 13, going on 14, and man, it's
Wait, so instead of playing sports, you was in the radio game at 13, 14.
Yeah. I was. Freshman in high school.
Yeah.
I was already an intern at one of the biggest, if not the biggest, radio station in the United States.
And they have to know that, because I don't think they know the severity. In San Francisco, KMEL was it.
Well, not just in San Francisco.
Yeah.
In the United States, you know, we had radio stations in New York like Hot 97. You know, following our lead. You got to understand, KMEL was the first radio station in the United States, in the nation, to start a summer jam.
Yeah. And the summer jams, now you see it in New York.
Everywhere.
You see them in LA, everywhere.
Everywhere.
But Summer Jam, man, when you take it back, we take it back to Summer Jam, because the Summer Jams, Shoreline Amphitheater,
yes,
we've had many, like Notorious B.I.G. We had people come through those things.
Man, I remember seeing MC Hammer when he had 50 people on stage. Too Short was the very first rapper I've ever seen play with a band live. That was 1991.
See, and that's one thing you'll know about Franny. You're really good with years. Like, you know your timelines.
Well,
I'm the worst.
The thing is, you know, music, I've always said it, music is the timeline to our life.
Yeah.
And you might not remember the exact year, but if you remember the songs that was really popping and you know, were on the charts,
it takes you to that year.
Music is the timeline to our life.
Because I watch you when we on Twitch, again, we'll talk about Twitch again, but you know the exact 2000 era, the 1990s eras, the 80s, 70s, and that's how you kind of go by saying, look, that song was hot at this time.
Yes, definitely.
See, but being a Bay Area legend as you are, what was the whole focus as saying, okay, you're doing everything with KMEL, the summer jams and all that. What changed for you to say, okay, it's time to go move to Vegas?
Well, you know, after being on the radio, after being on KMEL for 10, 11 years, you know, there was a lot of politics going on. And in 2001, when I made my move to Vegas, there was an opportunity out here to become a DJ on the very first hip hop and R&B radio station
in Vegas.
Yes, which is Hot 97.5. And myself and a DJ by the name of Mike P, who's actually still on that station, were the very first DJs.
Yeah.
And you know that, I mean, from there, the rest is history.
But that transition, when we were talking about politics, was there something that was KMEL changing the programming? Was KMEL just saying, okay, we're going to go in a different direction?
I think what happened was the people who were running Wild 94.9, which is the competing station, till this day, their program director took over KMEL.
Got it. That was Michael.
That was Michael Martin. Yeah. Exactly. And so, you know, a lot of things, a lot of DJs didn't see eye to eye with him.
Yeah.
Because you got to think, this is the guy we've been going against for the last 5-6 years.
Because he just came and brought that whole culture from Wild 94.9, which, if you knew the Bay Area, it was different. Like, Wild 94.9 was more poppy.
Yeah.
Hip hop was more KMEL. That was kind of like you could hear a San Francisco artist on KMEL. You couldn't hear that on Wild 94.9.
Not just that, you know, we also had, you know, R&B shows. We threw the House of Soul.
House of Soul. Woo!
You know, we threw, you know, just a lot of stuff that, you know, had to relate with hip hop and R&B.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was our whole swag, our
and
whole
stilo.
And did
Michael try to bring that aspect of Wild 94.9 into that realm of R&B and hip hop, or he kind of kept Wild as Wild?
I think what he did was he wanted to bring some of his players over to KMEL.
So it was like Bloods and Crips at that point. You guys are like, KMEL, you guys already had your family.
Well, I mean, it was real radio wars going down in the in the late 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
KMEL and Wild. You know that. You were there.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say that.
Because that's where it goes back to with me and Franny. Like, Franny was doing the radio, and, we were just saying, you guys were at the hottest clubs at the time. People were doing, but they don't do clubs back then how they do now. We'll get into that as well with you transitioning over to Dre's. But like you said, it was real. The line was there. It was a thin line between you being on that side of the spectrum with Wild 94.9 and then the KMEL family.
Right.
Like, you had the greats like Chewy Gomez, Rick Chase, and all these people that were personalities.
Exactly.
Back then. But now you were just saying, okay, it's time to transition with an opportunity. How old were you when you had the opportunity for Vegas?
I was 24 going on 25.
Got it.
And the crazy thing about that, before I moved to Vegas, I actually worked with Snoop on his.
That's right.
He had a syndicated radio show that was on 25 to 30 stations across the nation, called Snoop Dogg Radio.
Yeah.
And I basically got paid to fly out to his spot in
LA.
In Claremont, right next to Chino.
Yep.
And I basically got paid to smoke weed and talk shit.
See, and that's what it was too, because back then it was kind of taboo for weed and radio back then.
Oh,
because when you had your show, you and Trace was doing a show, and you guys were like the weed guys.
We were. It would all be subliminal too.
Yeah.
And that was a good thing, Highway 420, we're stuck in traffic on Highway 420, a lot of the subliminals, but a lot of our listeners, our core listeners that supported us, they knew exactly what we were talking about.
They knew what y'all was talking about.
And it got to the point, you were there.
Yeah.
It got to the point where our listeners started coming to the radio station after we got off because they already knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
We would have sessions downstairs.
Smoke out session, and everyone was ready to go.
Yes.
Did that have a small part to do with your exit from KMEL with the weed? Because it wasn't accepted like how it was today.
Yeah, absolutely not. I think it, maybe a tad bit.
Yeah.
But who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows what corporate was talking about?
Yeah.
Because you got to understand, we also had Cypress Hill on Sundays on the Up All Night show with myself and Trace.
Ooh, man, Up All Night. That's some legendary shit right there.
We had Soul Assassins Radio, right?
Yeah.
Be Real, Cypress Hill. They were hosting a show, and we had that whole radio station smoked out.
Yeah. And was there rules and regulations that you guys couldn't smoke in the studio?
Of course,
yeah.
But we broke those rules.
And this is before Clear Channel as well, too, right?
Yes, exactly.
So you see what the transition was between you and coming to Vegas, still being in this weed scene, but you had relationship with artists that you were already building when you were a young kid at KMEL, right? And that carried over for you being in Vegas.
Most definitely. Like, I still talk to Be Real from Cypress Hill. That's my guy right there.
Because it's crazy to see, Franny, like a lot of these artists we see, like Be Real, Drake, and Rick Ross and all these people have these kind of like casual conversations with Franny, and you have all the rest of the people fangirling. You know what I mean? But that's because it comes from your lineage of what you used to do with these artists.
Most definitely. it's the relationship that we've created, over the years, and there's also a bond there too.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, he's the hottest rapper, he's the hottest artist right now.
Well, because you were with these artists when they weren't hot.
Yeah.
Like you broke a lot of these artists' records when they weren't doing what they're doing now. So of course they owe that to you. Like, man, without Franny, I wasn't gonna have my name played, my song played on the radio.
Pretty much, and I think nowadays, a lot of DJs don't get credit.
Yeah.
A lot of people who break the music and play the music don't get enough credit.
And that's why we do shows like this, to give you that credit. Like, what are some of the records that you broke that are still relevant today that went platinum? And then,
golly.
Come on, because you have a lot of plaques at the house.
There's so much. There's just,
what's one in particular that say, you know what? I actually had something to do with that.
Juicy by Biggie.
Come on, man.
Juicy by Biggie. Jay-Z, some of Jay-Z's first records.
Yeah.
R&B, Jodeci records,
Oof.
the Mint Conditions. I was a teenager, sending out dedications to couples out there and didn't even know what love was.
Exactly. Because they didn't know what love was, and Jodeci on the radio at that time was unheard of.
Unheard of.
Because they was singing about, getting freaky at the club, taking them to the crib. But come on, it got to feel good to kind of see those records do what they do now in the history of music.
Most definitely. Like, for example, the Come and Talk to Me remix.
Yeah.
I remember, having that on vinyl. I remember, man, that's sampling EPMD's You're a Customer.
Oof.
And
they wasn't ready for that one.
And to play it 30 years later and people still react to it is special.
See, you guys don't know that. What kind of history that's in the room right now with Franny, because you're still doing it to this day. You're still doing what you love. But coming from the Bay Area, what was the hardest transitioning from the Bay Area radio to Las Vegas and be accepted by like the Las Vegas locals?
Just knowing that Vegas is a town where you have so many people from different, not just different parts of the United States, different parts of the world.
Yeah.
You know, who come and live here, and how are they going to accept, you know, hip hop and R&B on a commercial scale?
Because at that time, did you know what was hot in Vegas when you came out here? Was hip hop as big as it is now when you got here?
I don't think it was as big.
Yeah.
Well, you know, hip hop is the #1 genre now.
Yeah.
So it definitely wasn't as big.
Like when you came out here, where was EDM on the totem pole?
EDM wasn't even around yet when I got to Vegas.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. You've been through a whole like thing of EDM coming over and taking over Vegas when you were in this realm of hip hop and R&B. Like, I mean, we go back to the no EDM hats and stuff like that, where people we love R&B and hip hop.
Right.
And when you come to a city like Las Vegas, you can get lost in the shuffle where there's bigwigs saying, "Oh, you got to play EDM."
And that's why I came up with that hashtag no EDM, because, you know, at the time, a lot of people don't know this, but I was banned from DJing on the Las Vegas Strip for like a good 4 or 5 years.
Tell them about that too, because we're not talking about banned from one club. We're talking about from the Las Vegas Strip. There was like, Franny cannot be on the Las Vegas Strip because he plays hip hop.
Yeah, because I play hip hop and R&B. You know, there was just a time where a lot of these clubs didn't want urban music in the club. They just wanted EDM, you know, and EDM was taking over the scene. You had all these clubs popping up. And I remember going into a meeting, I'm not going to say with who or which venue, but it was one of the biggest venues at the time. At the time. And I remember...
we don't want to air them out right now, because if we did, we might lead them later on.
If you see me in person, I'll tell you in person, but I'm not going to air them out like that. It was like I said, it was a club and a bigwig, a general manager who was running one of the biggest clubs out here. He was like, "I want to get you on, but I need you to play EDM." I was like, "I don't play EDM. I don't have none of that shit in
your laptop or in your collection."
And the thing is, I can't vibe to it.
Yeah.
So I feel that I'm not going to go up there and fake it.
Speak on that. The importance of, even nowadays, that if someone comes and says, "Oh, can you play EDM?" There's a lot of DJs now that be like, they'll go search a whole EDM library, but there's some very few that stick to their guns and say, "You know what? I only really play hip hop and R&B, and I probably wouldn't be the person that you're looking for." Because I found myself in that, where they say, "Oh, you can play EDM?" And I'm like, "Nah, I can't." They're like, "Oh, well, you can find some." It's like, yeah, but you got to vibe to it. It's all about a vibe, right?
Yeah. To me, to me, it's not. When I think about that, I think about the term "all money isn't good money."
Absolutely.
You know,
say it again, Franny.
I can't
say it again.
All money isn't good money.
And some of you up and coming DJs, they don't live by that creed, because I mean, we're a little bit more comfortable, we're a little bit older now, but I see DJs younger that just take any gig just to have the gig or just to be on the bill. You know what I mean? Oh, they're doing that concert. Let me be on the bill. How much are you going to charge? I'll do it for free.
Right.
And it kind of messes it up for people that's been in the game, and it messes up the scale of pay for DJs to say, when you ask for it, like, "You're asking for this? I can get this kid for free."
You know, I don't blame them too, because we come from a different generation.
Absolutely.
And the generation that's going on now is, I call it the social media era.
Yes.
And a lot of people just want recognition.
Yeah.
They want that look.
They want that like.
Yeah, they want that like. They want that follow.
Exactly.
And, you know, I'm not from that generation. Yeah. You know, I got to keep it all the way organic.
But talk about the generation. We're talk about the clubs that you first started to DJ in Vegas, that you made your own. I'm talking about, remember, Caesar's days and poetry and all that.
Well, it even goes further back.
Yeah. Let them know.
When I first got here, there was a club on Tropicana between Maryland and Eastern called Glow at the Hop.
Yeah.
I remember Floyd Mayweather used to come in there and buy all the bottles out.
Yeah.
And hand bottles out to people in the club. You know, this is before bottle service in Vegas. You know, that, Blue Note, There's so many clubs that I've DJ'd at. Every single club on Flamingo, from Bank to the Bellagio, SRO, which is Suge Knight's old spot.
Used to be 669 for a little bit.
662 actually.
662.
Yep, 662.
And all these clubs you did, you went into those clubs knowing you were just gonna play hip hop and R&B.
Yeah.
Like the promoter, the owners, they knew what they was getting when they hired Franny.
Most definitely.
And did you ever come across and be like, look, did anyone, while you're doing your set, did they ever say, hey, throw a little EDM in there?
No.
Okay.
Never, because they
they
already knew what they were getting.
Yeah. So like, how did the Dre's thing come about? Because you're doing all these clubs now. You're now a resident at Dre's. Like, you're there every weekend.
Yeah, going on 8 years now.
And like one of the few, if not the only, all hip hop clubs on the Strip.
The only hip hop club on the Strip, playing it all night. Actually, it's the #1 hip hop club in the world.
Yeah.
That came about. I had the opportunity.
Well, where were you at before Dre's? Right before that, Dre's popped.
Okay, so right before Dre's, remember I was banned from the Strip.
Yeah.
So I was doing sweet parties in Vegas.
At the Palms.
I had to create my own vibe because they wouldn't let me DJ on the Strip. So I had to, create my own parties.
Well, talk about people. Don't just downplay that, because the sweet parties is legendary in itself. We got Drake have this in his lyrics talking about the Franny sweet parties. Like, elaborate on that, because you weren't able to be on the Strip. So you were like, I'm gonna go create my own vibe and do like a whole Palms party that was a Franny party that was a staple in the game. And then you had people like Drake and them kind of like talk about that.
Well, everybody, a lot of the locals knew about my sweet parties, but not everybody was able to get in.
Yeah. It was real exclusive.
Real exclusive.
I remember going to one, and it was real exclusive, where the lobby had everyone that couldn't get into the suite.
Most definitely.
And they had like a party in there, and security had problems. And I remember, hey, we're here with Franny. Like, it was a select few. Like, it was mostly like the family.
Yeah.
And then you had the women. And then you had
lots of women.
Yeah, lots of women. It was the
ratio.
The ratio was ridiculous.
Always.
Because it was like at least, I'll say 7-3, 8-2 ratio with women in there.
Always.
And that's why the people that was in the lobby wanted to be at the Franny Sweet Party, because it was such, it was a vibe, and it was exclusive.
It was exclusive and
invite only almost.
And you can hear the music that I played at those sweet parties, because I DJ'd my own parties.
Yeah.
You can hear that type of
music. And you were
music.
breaking records. Like, you had local artists that were giving you tracks that you were just breaking on the spot.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'd rather have my song played at a sweet party than hear it on the radio.
Most definitely.
Because that's how exclusive it was.
Yeah.
And so that what came about for, what year was that?
I started those sweet parties like in, I started those way back, but it didn't get to the scale it got until I brought it to the Palms.
Yeah.
And I'd say 07.
It's crazy that you say the Palms. Me and Franny went to the Palms reopening.
Yes.
And there's still staff there that's like, Franny, like, because they knew from the Palm Sweet parties.
Yeah.
We're talking about head of securities. We're talking about sound guys. Everyone knew, as when we went to the grand reopening of the Palms, everyone kind of just flocked to you and be like, you gonna bring those sweet parties back to the Palms?
Hey, man, we just need to find out who's running the show.
Who's in charge over there, yeah.
Because not only was I throwing parties, so like you said, artists like Drake, Rick Ross, Justin Bieber, not just artists. Now you have companies like Crooks and Castles and the NBA and
During
Duce,
Magic and all that, yeah.
All these different corporate companies coming to me like, yo, can we throw a party with you at the Palms?
Yeah.
And
that's what I don't think people know. Like, when you say names like Drake, Rick Ross, and all these other, you were messing with them when they weren't even nobody. Like, you were actually messing with Drake and Rick Ross before the world knew about them. And you guys already built those relationships. And then when Drake says with Franny at the cribbo, everyone was flipping out like, what? But that's some longevity of you guys having that relationship.
Most definitely. And a lot of people don't know when he said that in the song The Motto, which came out in 2011, he recorded that at my studio.
Yeah.
You know that. But
exactly.
A lot of people out there don't.
For those who don't know, The Motto, he referenced Mac Dre and all that too, but that came from the influence of you.
Well, the thing that Mac Dre reference came from, so here's the story on that.
Take us through that day.
Make a long story short, a short story long. Drake came to Vegas in 2011 for his birthday.
Yeah.
We threw him a birthday party at Marquee, I'll never forget. And he was like, yo, I need a studio. Perfect.
Yeah.
I got the studio, I got an engineer, whatever you need. He's like, I got to record this hook for Rick Ross.
Yeah.
which is actually the song Diced Pineapples with Wale, right? So
learn your history, people.
So he ends up playing these beats for me on his laptop.
Yeah.
And I heard the Motto beat. T- produced that beat. Shout out to T- from Toronto. I was like, man, that sounds like a West Coast Bay Area
Sound
beat.
like a baby, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, you like that? I was like, man, you got to do something to that right now.
Yeah.
So I shit you not. He plays the beat over and over and over. And he's like, yo, play a couple Mac Dre songs for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I play Get Stupid. I play Stupid Doo Doo Dumb. I play Dizzle Dance. And then I play
So you're giving him the reference tracks.
Feeling Myself. So that line where he says, you know, Feeling Myself, rest in peace, Mac Dre, I'm gonna do it for the Bay. He said that because he heard the song.
See? Come on.
He heard the song. And after 10, 15 minutes playing that beat, he's like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
He recorded that in one take.
One take, Jake.
And the rest is history. His birthday party was the next night, and he was like, I'm going to get Lil Wayne on this, watch.
Yeah.
And I remember him playing the rough version of it, not mastered.
With Lil Wayne?
No, without Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
But Lil Wayne was at his birthday party the next night. He played that without Lil Wayne, and I was like, man, this is going to work.
Yeah.
That album came out, and it ended up, that song ended up being #1 on Billboard.
And people don't know, like, being from the Bay Area, like, we knew it because we're like brother, but people from the Bay was like, dude, Franny's really doing it. I mean, they didn't know the severity of it but when you hear Drake, one of the biggest artists in the game, talk about the Bay, talk about Mac Dre, talk about Franny at the Cribbo, like, that as a Bay Area, like, you did us proud with that one. Because I remember when you guys came to the Bay Area with Drake, you had like Mr. Fab, all the Bay Area cats over there.
I made that happen too.
And you guys did the video.
Yeah.
And you guys did that right by the water, by the Bay Bridge.
Yep.
You guys go check out the Motto video on YouTube or wherever you want to see it at, and you'll trip that
E40's in that video.
Come on, E40's in that video, but all the hitters.
I got behind the scenes footage on that video too. That's never been really, actually, no. Some of that footage is on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you could find it.
Yeah. See, and that fast forward to like, not just Drake, like we're talking about you going on flights with Nipsey Hussle and his grandmother before his passing. You being on flights with Jay-Z, like all this stuff that people don't see. How did those come about? Because I know everybody was asking, how the hell is Franny with Jay-Z right now on a flight headed to his concert?
That was actually an accident.
Yeah. Because
what happened was I flew to the Bay to go see, it was a tour going on called the Rock the Mic Tour.
Yeah.
It was Jay-Z, 50 Cent.
Hitters, bangers.
Yeah, Beanie Siegel.
Yeah.
Freeway, Memphis Bleak, you know, the whole Rockefeller camp. And I went out to the Bay to go meet him, just check out the show because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
And the next show was in Vegas. But see, the thing is, so I met them.
In the Bay.
In the Bay.
Got it.
Went backstage, you know, we was chopping it up with Jay for a minute. And then when it was time to go, he was like, hop in. I didn't know where we were going.
Hop in like where? Like hop in the limo?
The Sprinter.
Oh, yeah.
So we got this Sprinter with about 10 people, you know, some of his closest friends, you know, his security management.
This is hand-selected crew that Jay-Z is saying, hop in.
And I'm tripping. I'm like, man, it's going to be crazy to get out of here, right?
Yeah.
Not knowing that this guy has a police escort ready to go. It's my first time being part of something that had a police escort.
Yeah.
So,
and they're escorting to SFO.
To the Clearport.
Yeah.
This is in 2003.
Yeah.
19 years ago. Wow.
Oof.
So we're pulling up to the Clearport. I'm like, I don't have my keys in my house. I don't have my luggage.
You don't have nothing. What do you have with you at that point?
Nothing. I had my phone, my wallet, and that was about it.
Yeah.
I didn't even have my weed on me.
Yeah.
and I'm like, yo, I asked Jay, where you going? He goes, we're going back to Vegas.
Oh, so he already knew he was taking you with him.
We going to Vegas. And I was like, well, I'm thinking to myself, I don't have the keys to my house. How am I going to get
That's
in the
all
house?
that's on your mind right now. I don't have the keys to the house. Yeah.
I don't have the keys to the house. And I was like, you got room?
Yeah.
Is it cool for me to fly with y'all? He was like, of course.
Yeah.
Yo, we get to the plane. This guy has crustaceans. He has the Dungeness crab, the garlic noodles, the shrimp toast, the crab puffs.
On the plane?
On the plane. And this is before he got into it with Cristal, the Cristal champagne, which is totally dry. I do not like Cristal.
But it was the rap life at that point. You had the Cristal popping.
And I love flying. I love planes.
Well, you're a private jet connoisseur. You love those things.
Well, not just a private jet connoisseur. I love planes, period. I'll fly on a Cessna right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
I don't even know what the hell a Cessna is right now, Franny. So you just sound like Southwest, JetBlue? No, none of those. So, but you're on this. What kind of plane did he have at that time?
It was a Falcon. It was like a 14 passenger. It was a heavy jet. One of them big boys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, one of them big boys.
So it wasn't in one of them little Richie Valens planes. It was a big boy.
Not my Richie. Not one of those. But so we land in Vegas. I'm like, man, where am I gonna stay tonight?
You're just tripping out, first of all.
Jay said, I got you. Don't worry. He got me a room that night. And the next night, the next day, Gino flew with my bags and my
Gino and them at that point were like, where the hell did Franny go?
Exactly. I had to tell him, I had to call him like, yo, I'm out of here. I'm on Jay's jet right now. We're headed back to Vegas.
Come on, man. Come on. At that point, you'll be like, all right, we'll meet you in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because that's like a once in a lifetime happening right there.
My first time ever flying private too. So yeah, that's unforgettable right there. That's
man. Shout out the legend Jay-Z, man. The whole Rockefeller fam.
That's something I'll never forget.
Come on, we as like being your friend and brother, like that alone was like, how the hell did Franny get on this jet with Jay?
A lot of people, I ask myself, like, how the hell are you on this jet right now with Jay-Z?
And then you fast forward, you go from Jay-Z, then you go to being on a private jet with Nipsey Hussle.
So that right there, thanks to Jay-Z for that as well.
Yeah.
And his best friend, Emory Jones, because that was a Puma trip.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That was a Puma trip. I was already in LA. We were out there for Gino's birthday.
Got it.
And we go to Universal Studios, during Halloween.
Yeah.
Every year for Gino's birthday. And I was already out there, and I got the call. And they're like, yo, can you fly back to Vegas with Nip? And G-Eazy, by the way.
Yeah, shout out G-Eazy.
For this Puma thing to do something for the kids.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did. Flew back to Vegas, went to the mall, bought a bunch of Puma shoes.
And gave them to kids.
We went to a couple of high schools, and we went to Doolittle Community Center.
Oh, nice. With Nipsey, with G-Eazy, with yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And gave away shoes. But when we got to Doolittle, Nip figured out that, man, these shoes aren't going to fit these kids.
Yeah.
Because these are like, size 8 and 9 above.
And the kids are like, has kid size.
Yeah, kid sizes. So Nip and his brother just take out a wad of cash and just start handing out $20 bills
to the kids.
Yeah.
Who was it with, Sam?
He was with his brother Sam.
Yeah.
And Granny.
Granny was handing out money too.
Yeah, shout out to Granny.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
How long after that trip did Nipsey pass? It wasn't that much longer, right?
No more than a year later.
Man,
so
that's crazy.
That trip was in October, and Nip passed away in March.
That's
March.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See, and we're talking about these things like, because with Notorious B.I.G., like all these artists that you already had these relationships with and these interactions with, like it brings you full circle today where you're working with artists week in and week out. Like we're talking about at Dre's, they got Rick Ross, Ludacris, 50 Cent, all these artists, even new and old, that are coming in and out of Dre's nightclub. Right. If you guys don't know, you're under a rock, but you're working with these artists hand in hand every weekend out here.
Every weekend.
Out of all the artists that you worked with at Dre's, who's one that you probably wouldn't work with again, and one that you would say, you know what, I would do it again with him?
Let's see.
Who's been one that you actually caught yourself being a fan of? Like, cause you're behind the DJ booth, you're watching these performances. Cause I went and I seen Ludacris, and I'm like, Luda got hits.
I'm a fan of a lot.
Yeah.
The Ludas, the Lil Waynes. It's more so the more nostalgic artists when I get up there. People who've been in it for 15, 20 years and still doing it. Yeah. 'Cause that inspires me. I know I've been doing it longer than that. Yeah. But it still inspires me.
Like to see a Lil Wayne come and do a Dre's night.
Lil Wayne is one of the best live performers that we have at Dre's.
Because, man, he goes down his catalog.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of the set lists that you post sometime on your Instagram that they have hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
50 Cent going up there, hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
Like, these people don't know, like, when you come to Vegas and you see Dre's, you see the marquee of a Dre, and it has DJ Franzen and all these TIP and all like that. How did it get to that level? Did you ever drive by and was like, I did that?
Yeah, you know, the first time I seen my name up there, I'm like, wow, this is for real.
Yeah.
This is for real. Now it's like, you know, when I see my name up there, it doesn't really like hit me as hard, but it makes me realize how blessed I am.
Yeah.
How fortunate I am, because I know there's a ton of other people that would love to see their names up there.
On a marquee on the strip in Las Vegas. Come
Exactly.
on. That's like the goal for many DJs out there right now.
Most definitely.
And I remember when we were talking about the Palms party when we went last time, they had your name, and it wasn't even a digital screen. Remember we were talking about, it was letters they had to prop up on the cork board, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And you had your names over there. Like, coming from the Bay Area, that has to come full circle to you to be like, dude, it's crazy, because everyone that comes to Vegas always runs synonymous with, oh, Fran, we got to go see Franny.
Yeah.
Like that whole Vegas relationship is crazy to me. Like, with the artists that you do that, how do you keep up with today's music? Coming from the 50 Cents, the Ludas, like now you have to deal with the babies, the little baby, the baby, the baby.
Baby's baby.
Yeah, baby's baby. Like, how do you transition?
Well, the thing is, you know, I'm still on the radio out here once a week.
Yeah.
And the thing about myself, and I could speak for you as well, is we keep up with the times.
Yes.
You know, that's one
You
thing.
almost have to, right?
You have to. You have to. You know,
you have to know what the
from-
hottest songs.
Coming from our generation, you know, research.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you see all these songs that's popping on TikTok, on Instagram. I still look at, you know, Billboard charts.
Yeah.
You know, I ask questions.
Oh, we do the research.
Yeah.
The research is huge.
You know, I talk to other DJs and ask them, yo, what's hot in your region right now?
Exactly.
You know?
See, but you may be a little nicer than I am. I'm at the point where if I don't like it, I'm not gonna play it. Is there songs that you have in your set that be like, why am I playing this shit?
Yeah. But I see the crowd react to it. I'm like, if they're enjoying it.
Does that even out how shitty the song is with the crowd reaction?
Yeah, most definitely.
Because to me, like when I do festivals and stuff, I'll be like, I don't want to play this Cardi song.
Yeah.
But I know if I play this, the reaction of this festival is gonna go nuts.
Yeah, because, you know, you're not up there to please yourself.
Yeah.
You're there to please the masses.
Yes.
And when you see, or when you hear, especially females, when you hear the ladies screaming those lyrics.
Exactly.
It's like, man, I did my job.
And it's crazy because
it's like
when
you're performing.
Yeah. But when you see the ladies in the crowds, like, and then I've actually noticed it with mine, when I do play a song from our generation, like a Looney's I Got Five on it or something like that, you have the younger crowd that has no clue what these songs are. Like, what's this old music this dude's playing? And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Because they have not experienced that era that we came up in. And I don't know if it's an old man's era now, but like, how do you transition when you're at a club to say, I want to play this track that's probably none of these youngsters are going to know, but mix it in well with a younger song?
Well, I know there's going to be people out there that's going to react to these songs. Like, for instance, you play Juicy by Biggie or Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison. You know there's people, there's those OGs on the dance floor that's going to know that record. So the younger generation is going to probably not know it.
Yeah.
But they're going to see these people partying to them. They're like, what is this?
Exactly.
And it's got to the point where I've seen, you know, some of the younger generation pull out their phone and start Shazamming music.
Yeah.
Because the way I look at it, if they were raised right, you know,
they were listening to it with their parents and all that part.
Exactly. That part right there.
See, that's what I'm talking. But see, if you notice today's music too, a lot of them sample the music that we were raised on.
Exactly.
Like they was my son all the time like, hey, you got to hear this song. I'm like, oh, that's an old sample. He's like, what?
And that's good that you tell your son that. That's educating them.
Yeah.
You know, music is about educating as well.
Exactly.
Because, for instance, say I'm playing Lauryn Hill, X Factor.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's Drake's song.
Exactly.
They stole from Drake's song. Nice for what? No, it's the other way around.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to educate thy youth. Like we always say on Twitch, you got to educate them.
And that is a good segue because education is key through music. And it pulls us to this thing that I want to talk about now, Twitch. Twitch came about pandemic. You're not working at Dre's no more. You're not doing the live shows anymore. I'm not doing festivals. I'm not doing concerts. Mm-hmm. We're looking for an outlet where to play our music.
Yeah.
And so it kind of started off when we was on Facebook Live and or Instagram Live.
Yeah, Instagram Live.
And tell us how your transition came from that to Twitch. And we'll give them more information about the Twitch stuff.
Well, streaming music, you know, isn't new to me.
Yeah.
I was doing it back in 08, 09 on Ustream.
Ustream.
Yeah, on Ustream. Back when Pandora was hot.
Yeah.
I had a program on Ustream when I used to stream music called Frandora.
Yeah.
another one of my AKAs.
And if they've watched your Twitch channel, the Franny Cam and the Frandora and the Ustream that you show, we're talking about you in the studio with Snoop in New York with Champelli and everybody.
Yeah.
We're talking about studio sessions that, you know, it wasn't really, that was the content.
Yeah.
We didn't know how gold content was at that time.
No.
And you show it nowadays, like, damn, that was a time and that was an era.
And there's still a lot of content that I have that I haven't got to yet.
Yeah. Exactly. Because that library is ready to come out.
Oh, it's going to come out one day.
Exactly. And that transitions to Twitch. So now you find us on Twitch, where Twitch is a video game platform that everyone uses to play video games.
Yeah, shout out to all the gamers out there.
But how do you come about being able to do your DJ sets on Twitch?
I remember seeing a couple DJs on there.
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember Shortcut was the first one I seen on there.
Shortcut was the first. Yeah, he's definitely one of the first people I've
Shout out
seen
DJ Shortcut too.
Representing the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Frisco, of course. And I was like, you know, that light bulb came about. And I was like, I could do this too.
Absolutely.
So I told everybody on Instagram Live, you know, people who were supporting me on my streams when I was playing music during the pandemic.
And we kept getting kicked off.
Every 15, 20 minutes. You know, and, you know, copyright rules, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm just trying to play music.
Yeah, we're just trying to. See, that's what I didn't get real quick. When D Nice was doing the quarantine stuff, this is what I didn't get. He would have a DJ set with every song copywritten, whatever. You, me, and myself and the other DJs, we do it for 20 minutes, we're kicked off.
Yeah.
So I went to like some people that I knew that worked for Facebook and Instagram. I was like, hey, look, is this like a favoritism thing? Why does D Nice get to have these long 2-3 hour sets of Quarantine After Dark, and we don't? And I never got a full explanation of it. Mm-hmm. And they were just saying, oh, well, yeah, he's D Nice. And I didn't really agree with that. I was like, nah, fuck all that. Fuck all that. Because we still enjoyed the music just as much as, shout out D Nice though for what he did.
He definitely inspired a wave of DJs, you know, to hop on Twitch or Instagram Live and start streaming music.
Yeah. But so the Twitch thing, come on. The Twitch thing, if you guys don't know, is a whole community. We have a thing we got on there is the Big Body Family.
Yes.
And it's like, it's a community, like, because people don't know, like, people don't like to go to new things. You know what I mean? When we're on Instagram Live and Facebook, like, oh, come catch us on Twitch. Like, I don't want to go to a whole nother platform.
I don't want to download another app and make a screen name and do this and do that. Yeah,
because if you look over the turnover ratio of people that followed us on Instagram and Facebook to over to Twitch, it's a small percentage.
Yeah.
We're talking about maybe 8-10% of what our following is that made that switch over to Twitch.
But at the same time, there's a lot of people that found us on Twitch.
Absolutely.
That didn't even know
worldwide.
That didn't even know us from Instagram.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a gift and a curse at the same time.
Tell us how the family came about.
The family, I've been using that term, the family, since the Ustream days, since the Frandora days. And it was just, you know, it just stayed with me. I'm like, this is what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the family.
The family.
You know, friends that turn into family.
And if you guys don't know what Twitch is, it's a video game platform that DJs go on there. We play our music, they're live sets. Unfortunately, we can't have where you guys can go back and watch it now because of the copyright stuff. But you're live with people from New Zealand, Australia,
everywhere,
Manchester, UK.
Japan,
and it's a trip.
Amsterdam, Spain, Spokane, like Hawaii.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And you build relationships with these people.
You do.
Yeah.
You really do. And then, you know, they gift subs, they gift bits. They keep it going for real. Like our viewers, our supporters, they keep it going. They keep the lights on. And tell them about that,
Franny, because I don't think a lot of DJs kind of steered away from Twitch, like, oh, I don't want to do that. But if they really did it the right way, that was actually them being in a club or doing a show and still getting the revenue that they were missing out on.
Most definitely.
Because I don't think a lot of people don't know is that Twitch actually paid you to stream for the bits that you were getting, for the subscriptions that you were getting through it. And a lot of people are like, oh, you get paid. Like, I got frowned upon from a lot of people that I knew.
Yeah.
Oh, you get paid from Twitch? Like, bro, this is a business.
Yeah.
At this point, it's a business because you got all these DJs that say, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'll do it on Instagram. And I was like, dude, you're giving it away for free. That Instagram's not going to give you nothing.
And that's the thing. Like, when I was on Instagram Live, people were like, yo, what's your Cash App? I want to send you some, you know, for playing music for us. I was like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Then with Twitch, like, it was already there.
Because it's built in.
Yeah.
Like, biddies is like a cheer. And then subscription is like they have subscribe to your channel to get like these exclusive emotes that we spend time on. Yeah. Like we do the Biggie Smalls emotes, we do the Drake emotes, but everything that's relevant to our channel that people don't have accessibility to, that if you subscribe to our channels, that was what you were paying the $4.99 for.
Most definitely.
And like Twitch nowadays, like with the pandemic that went on, how important was Twitch in your career up to this point?
It definitely gave me more confidence.
Yeah.
Let me know that, man, I probably don't even have to do a club anymore.
Man.
Probably don't even have to DJ events anymore.
Yeah.
I could really do this from the comfort of my own home.
And we were literally doing it from the house.
Yes.
We
still are. What are you talking about?
Still to this day, because I went during the pandemic, we were at, I say, YouTube University. A lot of research to say, okay, how do we make our Twitch streams better?
Most definitely.
Then we got into the green screens. Then we got into like, people that don't know, like the production value is definitely like, if I got somebody that's going to subscribe for $4.99, I want to put a show on for them.
Most definitely.
So that's why when I go to yours, like you were on the front page of Twitch when you first was getting, I'm talking about you had thousands of people in the room at once. And I think the thing that went back to everyone saying, Franny was the king of Twitch at that point. Because how many days did you do it in a row?
I did it for 500 nights in a row.
Come on, man.
I streamed for 500 nights in a row.
You think I'm lying? 500 nights in a row, not 365, because we had a milestone for each thing. We had like, what was it, 300th episode?
We had the 100 nights in a row. I remember saying, I'm going to go 100 nights in a row. And somebody in the chat room saying, oh, you think you can do that? You smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're not on my channel anymore. They probably lurk. And then we did 200 nights in a row. We did 300 nights in a row.
So as this is going on, 200, 300, things are starting to open up. You're slowly starting to get it. So that's why we started doing the family stuff, where the 300th night episode, you had Franny and the Fantastics, where it was you, me, myself, KT. We were in like a room and we did like a whole production value. It was karaoke night.
It was karaoke.
That we did.
Yeah. We even had a Slim from 112. On night 300, you understand, we got Slim from 112. We had Lloyd. We had Too Short.
Come on, this is unheard. This is at a house.
And then of course we had video shout outs from like Lil Jon.
Yeah, Lil Jon.
Fabulous.
But Lil Jon was also on Twitch. Like he started to do DJ sets.
Yes.
A lot of them started to get hip to the game. Like, oh, I could do this too. They were wondering what to do with their following. And I think that Twitch kind of gave it to us, where we're like, damn, we could actually perform for our following, our friends and family. Because for me, it was for the friends and family at first.
Most definitely.
And then you had the following saying, oh shit, I got people from New Zealand, Samoa, from Australia. And then you started thinking to yourself, okay, I got to start thinking of the time change, the time difference.
And here's the thing too, you curate your own show, you pick your own music.
That was the beauty of it.
And there's people out there that actually really fuck with your playlist.
Yeah.
Whether you play Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
And that's the joy, because you could play anything you wanted to.
Or
Still
a
to this
Stevie
day.
Wonder record, or Guns N' Roses to an old Jay-Z record. It doesn't matter. People love music.
And this us being music lovers as well, we kind of segmented it and formatted it where this day we're doing this. Like Tuesday I do Love Jones. You have your Monday through Friday shows that everyone kind of knows.
Right.
Where we're like entrepreneurs at this point, because we're saying, okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You were actually taking people to the club when you went back to Dre's.
Yes.
You'd have the camera set up and you had everybody that was following you on Twitch at the club with you. And that was crazy, and that blew my mind.
Till this day.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And this Sunday, actually, May 8th, I'll be celebrating 2 years.
2 years on Twitch.
So you definitely got to be there, yeah.
Yeah.
2 years on Twitch. And we got the house party too this
Exactly.
Sunday.
See, the house party. See, and you brought those elements to Dre's and was like, look, we do this house party thing, and it's just crazy how it goes full circle, because shout out all the Twitch followers that follow us to this day, because it gives us that avenue. Like this, doing the Western Conference podcast is just another realm of it. But the Twitch thing, I don't think, because people, like when it opened up, people kind of left it. DJs were like, oh no, we can go back outside.
Yeah.
Me, you, and a few other DJs kind of say, nah, we kind of still want to keep this Twitch
Most
community.
definitely. Like one thing I've always said, I will never ever ditch the community I created.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to leave them hanging.
Exactly. Come on.
You don't want to leave them hanging, man.
They've been subscribing you. Yeah, they support you.
They've been supporting you for all these months. Why would I want to leave them hanging?
Come on, man. That's our big body family right there.
Yeah.
And we always say vibe creators, because we can actually create a vibe anytime. And when we talk about pop-ups, we're talking about, if we're bored right now, like after this show, we went home, it's like, oh, I'm just going to get on. To have the freedom to just say, I'm going to go on and play, if it's somebody's birthday, Stevie Wonder's birthday. You go do a whole Stevie Wonder set, and it's crazy.
We've done it.
Yeah.
We've both done it, Oh, it's Prince's birthday or Michael Jackson's birthday. Let's do it,
Exactly. The beauty of Twitch, man. Shout out everybody on Twitch.
Or it's 415 Day. Let's play a bunch of Bay Area music.
And that's the thing, too, because 415 Day, us being from the Bay Area, a lot of people that I used to play music from the Bay, people from all over the world, they didn't know. They was like, what songs are those? You know what I mean? So you could have something that you played that was old that's actually new to people that never heard Bay Area rap.
Most definitely.
San Francisco rap. You know, and we were playing 415. We're talking about Richie Rich 415. We're talking about all those records. And people are like, dude, I've never heard this song, but this is the slap.
Right.
And to us, those songs are 20, almost 30 years old.
Most definitely.
Oh, man, the beauty of Twitch.
Like I said, educating people with music, man, it's relevant.
Now I got to throw these, since we talked about Twitch, I got to throw these other questions at you. What's your favorite goal you've achieved so far and that you're working towards now?
I think just being able to play music for people.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I was born to do. And after doing it all these years, you got to understand, when I was coming up in the Bay Area, my dream was always to be a mix show DJ. Yep. And it happened when I was 15. Man. You know, I got my first club gig when I was 16, playing for 18 and 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, and to still be here after all these years, knowing that there's other people out there that want to take my place, is beyond a blessing.
You being from San Francisco, like, what does San Francisco mean to you, and what does Vegas mean to you now?
Man, Frisco, that's the city I was, raised. That's where I got my game.
Yeah.
That's where I went to school. That's where my career started. My heart will always be in San Francisco.
Absolutely.
But Vegas has treated me so right. Like, this, I'm going on my 21st year in Vegas.
Yeah.
And
you said it before, you're going to be buried in Vegas.
Most definitely. Most definitely. My ashes will be right here in Vegas. Because
I want to say you brought a lot of the Bay Area culture. You first-handedly brought that over to Vegas, where when people came around, any club you heard a Too Short record or an E40 record, they was like, oh, Franny brought that to Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
They was calling it Vegas for a minute.
Yeah, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
especially at the height of the whole hyphy movement. Like, I would have a Sunday nights at OPM at Caesars, at Poetry Nightclub, be a Bay Area night. Yeah. And so many people would fly out here on Sunday night.
Just for that. I flew out here a few times for that party.
Most definitely.
But it's crazy how we keep the Bay culture that we keep to our element, but how much love they get from East Coast, around the world, Midwest, down South. Yeah. They still, every one of them genres have love for the Bay Area.
Most definitely.
And I think they always hold you synonymous with the Bay Area because, oh yeah, I heard that from Franny in Vegas. And that's crazy because I don't think people know that you are a pioneer to bringing the Bay to Las Vegas. You still do it to this day. Like how does that pressure for you, if it's even called pressure, so when you do a club and be like, everyone's talking about play a Bay record, or you already have that in your mindset to do it, right?
I have that in my mindset. I always got to make sure I play a couple of Bay Area records because I know there's going to be, it's a hop, skip, and a jump from the Bay to Vegas. So I know there's going to be a couple of people in the crowd that's going to be dancing crazy to this Bay Area music I play.
Speaking of Vegas, Vegas do's and don'ts.
Vegas do's and don'ts.
Come on. I know you got a list. I know you have a list because when you do Dre's, I hear you shout out Memphis, shout out Chicago. But what is a Franny do and don't?
Do check out and do remember we have a bunch of amazing restaurants in Vegas.
Man, I done gained 50 pounds since I moved here. Just from eating out with you. But man, definitely the food is here.
Man, the don'ts in Vegas, don't ever ever think that you could get over on a casino out here. Because
the house
will always take your money. The house always wins. All right?
Tell me, they don't.
Why
know
do you
about
think
that.
they keep building these casinos?
Exactly.
Don't ever think, oh man, I'm gonna go out there and take that money.
Oh, see, the house will always win. Vegas will always win.
Come out here with the mindset that you're gonna have fun.
Yeah,
and that's it.
And bring the money that you're planning on losing too.
Exactly.
Don't say, okay, I got to get this 800, but I got to win it back when I leave.
Don't chase your money.
Come on, people. These are nuggets of gold that you guys are receiving right now.
Ladies, don't take your shoes off on the strip or in the nightclub.
Feet.
Or coming out the bathroom.
Shout out Gino with the swine feet cam.
Yeah.
Out of Dre's all the time.
Been doing that for a long time.
Explain this to me. I get that the heels hurt. But what makes you think taking those heels off and walking on pavement, which has feces, piss, and a number of other things,
throw up,
And you have an open cut on your foot? Oh, God, let me stop.
And you go home and you don't even wash your feet and hop in your own bed. Come on.
Ladies, leave your damn shoes on because swine feet is an epidemic out here, and we're going to catch you on the swine feet camp.
Bring some flats to the, bring some flats to the
And
club.
I see them do it. They put them in their purse or something, them little... The nail shop flats that they have over there, the Ripper slippers.
The Ripper slippers. And here's another don't. Don't spend all your money in the strip club.
And I've seen it happen.
I've
seen it happen.
We've all seen it happen.
We've actually sat there, me and Franny, and looked and be like, oh, man, poor guy.
It is
slumped over. But you know what? What changes have you seen over the years, and what changes are you trying to make as a DJ here in Vegas? Like, I know you've been through a lot of areas. You were talking about hyphy movement.
Yeah.
The down south had a nice little spin. Like, what changes have you been through and seen, and what changes do you see coming up about?
I mean, music is always changing.
Forever.
And it's always an evolution with music, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're always going to hear something new. We're always going to, see new dances, because of the social media era. I think what's happening now is we just got to stick to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the time, as time goes, we got to stay relevant with the time.
Exactly. Got to do it. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. If I'm a new artist and I'm a DJ, and we'll do the DJ part first, what lessons and what advice would you have for a young DJ coming up? Is like, man, I want to do what Franny does in Vegas.
You can't give up. You got to stay persistent because not everybody's going to get that shot. You know what I mean? But say you have an opportunity at a hookah lounge, or you have an opportunity to do a wedding,
to build the vibe.
Exactly. Do it.
Yeah.
Because that'll build your following.
And that's something like I want to piggyback off what Franny was saying. A lot of DJs ask me all the time is like, how do you guys, we do what we want, and as far as being respectful to the music, like the R&B, like there's R&B parties going on in San Jose right now. There's R&B parties going on everywhere. We love R&B. But you guys go to these little hookah lounges and create that vibe. That hookah lounge is going to transition to a main club.
Yeah.
And you're going to have promoters go to those hookah lounges just on an off night and be like, oh man, I like the vibe of this kid. And just have them be in those. And those opportunities are real scarce here in Vegas.
Real scarce. Also, don't be discouraged. Say you go to a hookah lounge and you're only DJing for 10, 20 people.
Yeah.
Don't let those numbers scare you.
I can't even tell you how many times people, they even with the numbers on Twitch, like even with Twitch DJs, if you have 5, 10, 15 people in there, I always tell them, turn the numbers off, because the more you look at the numbers, you have to perform like you were performing in front of 10,000 people, the same you perform for 10 people.
Most definitely.
And I don't think these kids, I only got 10 people around, I'm out of here.
I think it's more of an ego thing.
Yeah.
And, you got to think about it this way. You have 10 people watching you right now. That's 10 more than
I've seen DJs that had 2 people in there.
Right.
And I'm like, they keep going. And like you said before, they got to keep it going. So we did the DJ thing on artists. What can artists look for and say, look, I want Franny to play my record? What advice would you give to these up-and-coming artists if they would want to get their record played by a DJ in a place like Dre's or something like that?
Don't be like everybody else. Come up with your own.
Franny.
Come up with your own formula. Talk about some real shit that's going on. Don't talk about stuff you don't have.
Yep.
And just keep it all the way organic, because the realness will always stick out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though there's a lot of bullshit out there that we hear and we play, because of its popularity on social media or on the radio or whatever.
I find myself being the old guy when I be like, man, like my son's playing something, like, what is that? Right. Like, you trip off. Like when I was younger, when I was playing the hip hop back then, my dad was like, turn that shit off.
Yeah.
I find myself now when I hear like the mumble rap and my son's bumping it in the car, I'm like, dude, turn that shit off. Right. I'm like, oh shit. Am I the OG right now? And then I'll throw on some like DeBarge or something, and then my kids will be like, I don't want to hear this old ass songs, Dad. But now I find myself, the older I get, we still love the music, but me personally, I just can't get into some of the things that my kids listen to nowadays.
It happens. It's like, it's evolution. Like you said, when you were listening to that when you were younger, your dad was like, what are you listening to?
And then he throw on the old school. He would throw on the old school, and I thank my parents for that, because us being raised on the old school, I think when we play it in our Twitch shows, it shows to the people like, oh, what you know about that, youngster? You know what I mean? And those songs are all forever timeless. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Isley Brothers.
All that, man. I love the 70s and 80s era.
Yeah.
even though we grew up in that 90s, early 2000s era.
But we was raised in that era, the 70s and the 80s music that was being played.
The Gap Band, you know what I mean? Teddy Pendergrass, like all that music is timeless. The Sade's, like.
If someone came to Franny and was like, Franny, you can have any artist at Dre's or any show that you want to do, living or alive, who's your top three?
Top three?
That they said, Franny, you can bring anybody back from the dead or alive now, and they can do a show with you live.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that's a tough one. At Dre's,
you have the platform. You have Dre's. I said, Franny, any three artists you want right now, let us know. We'll get them, dead or alive.
My favorite rapper of all time, Biggie, most definitely.
Yeah.
I would have to say Michael Jackson.
Come on, man.
And I would have to say Stevie Wonder.
I thought you were gonna say Prince, but Stevie Wonder is like still a legend in the game today.
Nobody like you can't even think of somebody to go against Stevie Wonder in the verses.
Versus them, they can't versus Stevie. Last but not least, what's next for Franzen?
Just keep it going.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep it going. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this until I expire.
Come on, man.
You know, this music is in my blood, so. Just to keep it going, just to inspire the next generation coming up, you know, and give hope to that next generation who feel like, oh man, I can't do this. You know, I can't get it going because, you know, I do have DJs that hit me and DM me and like, yo, can you help me out on my Twitch? You know, I only have 5-10 viewers.
Yeah.
And, you know, just to give them the words of encouragement.
Yeah, give them some of the game to be like, look, this is what I do.
You have to. And then,
absolutely.
And then next thing you know, you rate them with, you know, a couple of hundred people. And
they're like, oh,
they're
then they lose it. Then they panic. Then they don't know what to do. You see a lot of, shout out Franny for the raid.
Right. And then their confidence level, you know, goes up a little too. So, you know, just to inspire that next generation and just to educate, you know, the younger generation as well with the music. Yeah. I think that's so important because we came up in an era where, like we were talking about the 70s and 80s, you didn't have to worry about curse words. Yeah. You know what I mean? You could really play the type of music that we love for the grandparents and for the grandkids.
For everybody.
For everybody.
Now, like if I'm doing like a family party or something and there's like a song with curse words, I cringe. Yeah. Like, I probably shouldn't have played that. Or I don't want the OGs to be like, hey, what's that cursing that's going on in there?
Yeah, yeah.
For those who don't know, before we wrap it up right here, where can they find you on your Twitch and all your social media?
Twitch is easy. It's DJ Franzen, Franzen, twitch.tv/DJ Franzen. Instagram is Frandelay Bay. Yeah. Real simple. Twitter is DJ_Franzen. Or you could just go on Google and
don't hit them with the Google me.
Google DJ Franzen.
Google DJ Franzen. Look, before we get up out of here, I have a gift that I wanted to give you. These are 415 records that I got from 415 Day.
Wow.
It's Andre Nicotina, Smoke, Dope, and Rapping, Ayo for Yayo.
No way.
You see on the back, it has SFC. So these are actual records that Empire gave out for 415 Day. That one's Andre Nicotina. This is RBL Posse. Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed and Bluebird.
Wow.
On a 45. And the last one was a Zaytoven and 415 one they did with Empire. Shout out Gazi. Shout out to Empire, folks. But that was a little gift that I wanted to give to you live on air. I
appreciate that, my brother. Thank you, Oos.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Shout out to my brother DJ Franzen. You can always find us on Twitch. See, I knew that gift was going to get him. But you know what? That was episode number 3. I'm glad to get my brother up in here. Shout out everybody, Sticky Paws, the whole Big Body family. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.